Okay, so I'm really excited to break this down for you today because today we are going to talk about how you can actually rewire your attachment style to become securely attached. This is based on neuroscience and the psychology of how we can recondition our subconscious mind because you are not born with an attachment style. It gets conditioned into you through repeated experiences and how they impact your subconscious over time. Keep in mind, your conscious mind, which is the part of you experience as your logical, analytical, problem solving self, is only responsible for 3 to 5% of all of your beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and daily decisions. The conditioned or programmed part of you, the habituated self, is your subconscious. And it consists of essentially this big warehouse of all of these different patterns of belief, thought, emotion, action. And it is 95 to 97% of all of these things. So we're going to talk about how to actually target that aspect of self in this video today, because this is how you actually heal. And we're going to talk about the 6 major pillars that help you rewire your attachment style and how to address those at the subconscious mind. Because if you're not doing those things at the subconscious level, you're just intellectualizing content and you're not going to see the true healing and changes that last. Now, if you're new to this channel, my name is Thais. I'm the founder of the Personal Development School, and I've been in private practice and then running our online programs for more than the past decade, all talking about the field of attachment theory, relationships, and the subconscious mind, which you're going to see plays a crucial role in this whole discussion today. Here's the first thing I want you to understand is that when you have a big trigger in a relationship, we're going to call these your core wounds, because this is really what they are. And how a core wound or trigger works is, I want you to imagine that you're going into the forest and you see a bear and you run away from the bear and you're safe. But the very next day, you actually have to return back to the woods again. What happens? Your mind constantly thinks there's a bear everywhere. It goes, is the bear over there? Is it behind that tree? And you're on high alert. You're looking out for the bear everywhere. Now, the reason is that your mind is actually designed to do this psychologically. It's designed to store something that is a threat, that feels really intense, and hold it really near and dear to ourselves and reproject it back out onto our environment in the future as a form of self-protection. But this is really meaningful when it's a survival-oriented situation, like trying to escape from a bear. But unfortunately, it's something that our subconscious mind naturally, essentially does when we have unresolved, painful experiences from the past. So imagine, for example, that you grew up in a household where there was a lot of betrayal trauma. There was a lot of lying or broken promises or inconsistency or roller coaster behaviors from your caregivers. If that threat was stored as you feeling betrayed, guess what you do? Later on, in your next relationships, it's almost like you're going back into the woods again, and your mind goes, oh my gosh, I could be betrayed at any point in time. And you project that onto everything, everywhere. And unfortunately, these are the things that not only hurt us the most, because when we actually unpack how a trigger functions, I want you to imagine this analogy. You have an experience of being betrayed, or there's a little incongruency or a little white lie somebody tells in front of you. And your conscious mind goes to your subconscious mind, which, by the way, stores every single thing. Yes, it consolidates memories over time, but it stores them all. And it stores them with all the emotion intact. And your subconscious mind, by the way, is responsible for 95 to 97% of all of your beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and actions. So what happens is when you have a triggering event, your conscious mind has an experience in front of you, like a white lie, somebody, does something that's incongruent or breaks a promise. It goes into, essentially, as an analogy, communication with your subconscious mind and says, oh, what do we know about times we felt betrayed? And your subconscious mind essentially opens its filing cabinet of all of the times that you stored emotion with feeling betrayed, or like you couldn't trust somebody, or there were broken promises, and it all floods to the surface. And when you experience a trigger, what you're experiencing is the pain and frustration of the objective moment in front of you, like the person lying right there in front of you, combined with all of the stored subconscious times that you felt betrayed in the past. Because that's how your mind works. It stores them, reprojects them to protect you, like you going into the woods again after seeing the bear. And so if you have these core wounds, okay, and we're going to talk about exactly the 6 major ones that come up the most for fearful avoidance, then you're probably projecting them out onto your relationship all the time, number one. Number two, when somebody hurts you a little bit in association with this core wound, another core wound is rejection. If you feel a little bit rejected, you'll experience the rejection in front of you, plus all the stored times you felt rejected in the past. It may have been really painful if they occurred in your household or upbringing or in really intense ways. And so you're experiencing never just the moment of the rejection in front of you, but that moment in front of you combined with all of the unresolved times you felt rejected in the past. No wonder relationships feel so difficult. No wonder you feel like you're on these huge roller coasters and you have these ups and downs. And one day you have all these feelings and you're all in. And another day you're left questioning everything. It's because when those triggers are so strong, they often make you want to cut and run. They often make you want to be like, I need to get as far away from this person as possible, as a subconscious strategy to get as far away from the pain you're experiencing as possible. And the pain could be from somebody rejecting you in the moment, or being incongruent, or telling a small white lie in the moment. And that brings up all these immense feelings. And you're like, oh my goodness, that person is making me feel all of these things. I need to push them away. But the hard reality is that that person is just a catalyst. And they are a catalyst for what's going on inside of you already, all these stored painful triggers from the past that are now getting brought to the surface. And now it feels like it's 100 times bigger and stronger and more intense than just what the person did in that moment. Now, it doesn't mean that the person may not be in the wrong to some degree if they are lying or being inconsistent or rejecting you in some way. It may not be a fit or a match, but you shouldn't have to walk around your life and relationships constantly feeling 100x the pain and suffering of, for example, a securely attached person who doesn't have all these unresolved core wounds. Now that you have a pretty decent baseline of like how a core wound works and what it does, I want you to know something else. Core wounds, when they're triggered, make us feel a lot of intense emotion. And once we feel a lot of intense emotion, we go to our coping mechanisms. You may find, for example, that when you're really triggered, you flee, and that can sabotage relationships. Or when you're really triggered, you people please like crazy, and that can actually sabotage the relationship you have to yourself because you're not being in your truth and sharing what your true boundaries or needs are. Another thing that can come up is when you're in your triggers, you may find that you have these creature comforts, these numbing mechanisms, because the pain feels so intense and so great, like shopping addiction or overeating, or binge playing video games, or watching television for hours and hours, or drinking, or using substances, these things that try to numb out our pain. But all of those are just us trying to attempt to treat the surface symptoms, and they're not getting to the root of the matter. And so something else that's really important to recognize, again, before I tell you these 6 key triggers, are that number one, you're not born with these triggers. They get conditioned into you. They become a part of your subconscious programming. And how this fundamentally works is when you have painful experiences, you store them intensely, and then we keep rinse and repeating them. We keep thinking, oh, we're in the woods with the bear, and firing it out and seeing, assuming that these things are going to happen again and worrying about them. But every time we do that, we create a firing and wiring of neural pathways, because neural pathways actually get solidified through repetition and emotion. That's part of what creates these subconscious programs. You're not born with them. They get conditioned into you, but we can leverage our understanding of neuroplasticity and how the subconscious mind works to recondition. And I mean this. I mean that if you are somebody who struggles, and I'll tell you these triggers at a high level, and then we'll get into how to actually mend them. But if you're somebody who struggles with being suspicious in relationships because you fear being betrayed, if you're somebody who fears abandonment in relationships and it makes you people please, or it makes you worry or even shut down and push people away because you feel like, oh my gosh, they're going to hurt me and abandon me, I just need to protect myself. If you're somebody who feels unworthy and feels like you have to earn your worth and overgive at the expense of yourself, like literally run yourself into the ground, overgiving. If you're somebody who has really strong defense mechanisms, like a really intense fight response, because maybe in the past you felt unsafe and you didn't have somebody to defend and protect you the way that you needed during those times. If you are afraid to be trapped or helpless, especially if you rely on somebody else. Oh my gosh, I'm going to rely on somebody and they're not going to be there, and then I'm going to be left feeling helpless. Or if you have a big sensitivity to rejection. If these are things you struggle with, I'm telling you right now, they do not have to be a part of your programming. They do not. And I'm telling you this as a fearful avoidant who's done this work firsthand, but also as somebody who's worked with tens of thousands of people over the past decade, both in one-to-one sessions and through our online programs, and seen core wounds are very solvable problems. You need a little bit of dedication. You need a little bit of repetition and emotion to refire and wire neural pathways. But these things do not have to be a part of your reality, and they do not have to be things that cause you to have this ongoing hypervigilance to everything in a relationship and constantly be on high alert and worry about these things. And it doesn't mean that you're going to become foolish. I think that a lot of fearful avoidants think, oh, I'm going to get rid of my core wounds and these big fears in relationships. And then people are going to hurt me because I'm not going to be paying attention. You can be cautious and you can vet effectively, like a securely attached person does, without having to constantly be in the exhausting, draining cycle of always fearing betrayal, abandonment, being unworthy, feeling unsafe or trapped, feeling helpless, feeling rejected. These things do not have to be a part of your ongoing daily life. So, what do? Here's the thing. If you do this exercise, if you stick to it, you will see these core wounds change. Okay. Now you need to stick to it, and you need to stick to it for 21 days, which may sound like a lot, but it will take you 2 minutes a day, and you can do it while you're doing things like brushing your teeth. And let me tell you one other thing. If you are somebody who's felt the pain of fearing betrayal or abandonment in so many of your past relationships and being on the roller coaster, I promise you 2 minutes a day for 21 days is going to save you an immense amount of time and energy and stress of being in roller coaster relationships or going from heartbreak to heartbreak, because relationships feel very hard when you have all of these core wounds. Let's do the exercise. So here's step one. Find your core wound and its opposite. Okay, I named a few. There are a few other core wounds that we often talk about with fearful avoidant attachment styles. If you want to go deeper, again, we have all of these in the personal development school, but some really good ones to start off with are: I will be betrayed, I will be abandoned, I am unworthy. Again, you'll see this in your behaviors because you constantly overgive and try to earn your worth in relationships and may even struggle to receive. I am unsafe. Again, you might be like, I don't feel unsafe. But if you have a really intense fight response when you feel attacked or when somebody gives you a hard time about something, or if you have a really intense flight response or freeze response or fawn response, like the people pleasing response, all of those are huge indicators that there's an I am unsafe core wound that's then sponsoring those intense behaviors as reactions to that wound. I am trapped or helpless. Okay, reject it. So those are the 6 bigger ones. So here's what you do. Step 1, find your core wound and its opposite. Really easy. I am betrayed, I have loyalty. I'm abandoned, I have connection. I am unworthy, I am worthy. I am unsafe, I am safe. I am trapped, I am free. I am helpless, I am supported. I am rejected, I am accepted. Okay, so you have like core wound and its opposite. If you want some help and support with this, knowing your feelings and needs is something that will literally get the ball rolling. And we have a fully free needs course. You actually get to keep it for life. Use the link in the description box below. We're just doing this for a portion of the month, like a very small period of the month. Go click on that needs link. And when you join the 7-day free trial, you actually get to keep the needs course for life. And if you cancel before day 7, you'll still get the free course for life. And it's all about noticing your needs and what they are and like how to reconnect to yourself. So if the link is still here, we probably still have the promotion going on. Don't be afraid to click down below and check it out. Step 2, we have to realize that these core wounds, they are not conscious. They are subconscious. Conscious is like your conscious choices, right? Nobody is waking up every day saying, oh, today I'm going to tell myself I'm going to be abandoned all day long and see how I feel. No, you're not choosing to fear these things. These are autopilot programs. They're things that are happening without your conscious choice a lot of the time, because if you did have conscious choice, you wouldn't choose to be triggered, especially not around these really painful wounds. So we have to speak to our subconscious mind. Now, here's where a lot of our system gets it wrong. And I have to be honest. So many people in all different places and spaces talk about all of these concepts, all these ideas. Oh, you have to learn about your attachment style. But if you're not targeting the subconscious mind, learning about your attachment style will just get you to learn about it. It won't get you to change it. Change happens when we target those subconscious neural pathways, those habits that we've formed at a deeper level. So we have to speak to our subconscious mind. Now, here's an interesting fact for step 2. Your subconscious mind speaks emotions and images. It doesn't speak language. And it's a big reason I don't believe in affirmations, because when you just use an affirmation, you're using your conscious mind to speak to your conscious mind. So for example, if somebody's working on a core wound, I'm not good enough, and you just say, I'm good enough, I'm good enough, I'm good enough, your conscious mind speaks language. Your conscious mind only understands that. We have to speak through emotions and images so that our subconscious mind can unpack and understand this. How do you know that your conscious mind speaks language and your subconscious doesn't? Because if I say to you right now, whatever you do, do not think of the pink elephant. What happens? Your conscious mind hears do not, but your subconscious probably flashed a picture of a pink elephant. And so we have to realize that, hey, our subconscious mind doesn't really hear that stuff. So we need to speak in emotions and images. Now, here's the next interesting part. And I'm just explaining these steps. I'm going to summarize them for you in a second. So you have 3 easy steps at the end. So the second part here that's really interesting is that when we're looking for how do we speak to our subconscious mind and we need emotions and images, well, guess what is the container of emotions and images? It is our memories. If I were to say, tell me your favorite childhood memory, and it's you playing on the beach with your siblings and your family, you're going to see the images when you're rehashing that memory, recounting that memory. You're going to see the images of the sand and the water and your family and the shovel and the little bucket. And we've all seen people when they tell old stories, they smile or they laugh. Have you ever seen people retell their like favorite high school memory, this funny thing that happened, and they all laugh? And because memories contain emotions still. And our subconscious has stored these things with the emotions and the images intact. And so what we can do is we can leverage in step 2 our memories, because memory speaks to the subconscious mind. So step 1, find your core wound and its opposite. Step 2, we need 10 memories to support the new idea. So just for simplicity's sake, let's just say it's I am not good enough, I am good enough. We need 10 memories of times you actually felt good enough. If it was I will be betrayed, we need 10 times of where you actually saw loyalty from people in your life. If it's I will be abandoned, 10 times that people actually showed up and connected to you and showed care. If it's I am unworthy, 10 times you felt worthy. If it's I am unsafe, 10 reasons in your recent memory why you have safety in your environment with people around you, how you can obtain safety, like these pieces of proof that you have. If I'm trapped, 10 reasons I'm actually free. I have freedom. I have access to freedom in various areas of life. If I'm helpless, 10 memories of times you felt really supported. Okay. So if you see these, like as we go through these 10 memories, why do we need 10 memories? Because we get repetition, which is what fires and wires. And then we get emotions and images. By the way, this is a trademarked tool at PDS. So this is like one of my favorite things to really share. And once you have this here together, step 3, we record it. I often advise that people record it in your phone so that you can listen back. And when you listen back, we do this for 21 days because that's what research shows it takes to actually create new neural pathways that are strong enough that they're likely to stick. And when we listen back, and it takes 2 or 3 minutes a day to listen back, we just have to focus on seeing the images in the memory and feeling the emotion. So for example, if you were doing, I'm not good enough, I am good enough, you would actually come up with 10 times that you felt good enough. It could be small things. They don't have to be huge. Yesterday, I was a good enough friend. I showed up well in as a friend when somebody needed me. 2 days ago, I felt good enough when I had that hard conversation with my coworker or boss that was hanging over my head. 3 weeks ago, I made sure that I actually tried to push myself out of my comfort zone. And that made me feel good enough because I grew. The more specific you get, the more detailed the images will be, right? If you're like, I had the conversation with my boss yesterday, and it's like you remember where you were sitting and you remember how it went and how you felt when that conversation finished and you did what you set out to do. The more you can put like a sentence or two into describing it, the more images are going to get anchored in there and the more emotion. And they don't have to be big things. It can be as small as I got out of bed at my first alarm, and that's what I was intending to do more often. The more you have these things, the more you've got the repetition, the emotion, the imagery of these things. When you record it into your phone and listen back, again, it'll take 2 or 3 minutes to listen back for 21 days. You can do while you're brushing your teeth. I often advise do it in the first hour that you wake up or the last hour before you go to sleep because you're most suggestible at that time. In other words, your brain's producing more alpha and theta brain waves, and it makes it more easy for this information to seep into your subconscious mind. And doing this 3-step solution for 21 days minimum will get rid of these core wounds. Other tip, do one at a time. Okay, start with one at a time. Once you feel like, wow, I did 21 days of working through this wound and my whole life has changed, move on to the next one. As you get a little more adept at it, as you get better at it over time, you can do 2 at a time. But if you try to do them all at once, you will overwhelm yourself. Don't do it that way. It's not going to work. Pick 1 or 2 at a time so you can stay focused, attentive, and move through these things. And this is the first step of 5 major steps to reprogram the fearful avoidant attachment style into a secure attachment, all of which we have outlined in the personal development school with 5 major pillars that go really deep with full courses. They're only 2 hours each per course. And these courses are designed to help you become securely attached by targeting the subconscious mind. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for stopping by and for watching. And I hope you subscribe, share, Like this channel or this video if it was valuable for you today. Thank you for watching.